what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the newest episode of the Chair Guys podcast, episode 4. I'm here with none other than
RS Vaughn.
And, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest with us. He's one of the music Twitter greats. He's known for creating a music Twitter tournament and his many controversies. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sam SWENSEN.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, Sam?
Beautiful.
What's going on?
Nothing much, man. How are y'all?
We're doing great. We you are one of the music Twitter greats. We go back and forth many moons, and we're like, who's one of the music Twitter greats? Your name just comes up,
I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate y'all having me on too. I'm excited.
Yeah, but hey, for those who may not know, who are you?
My name's Sam. I used to be on music Twitter pretty avidly for about on and off for about a year and a half, but I was pretty active in like mid to late 2020 and also like the beginning of 2021 this year. Some stuff happened on there. Yeah. I don't know.
And you left.
That's like that. Yeah, I left. No, I
left in a tracing. It was. I don't know how to describe it, but I had a word, but my tongue just twisted, so I can't even say it. But
it's all good.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we wanted to bring on Sam SWENSEN. I've always just talked to Sam every now and then, and I told him about the podcast. He said he showed interest, so I thought, let's get him on. So without further ado, I think it's ready to get into our albums. Do you want to start, Vaughn?
What's our new drop first?
What's our new drop?
New drop, okay. TM88 and PIERRE BOURNE, Yo88.
Yo88.
Collaborative effort between iconic producer TM88 and even more iconic producer, but also rapper PIERRE BOURNE. And this is a very interesting album to me because, Pierre's not producing at all, and that's what he's basically known for. He's kind of showing his rapping skills on here, and TM88 is producing the whole thing. And I was very excited for this project, and honestly, it exceeded my expectations. So
yeah,
I was really happy with this album. You guys want to kind of share your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll go and then I'll pass it to Sam.
Awesome.
Personally, so I've kind of had a really weird relationship listening to Pierre's Bourne music because I've kind of I've liked a lot of songs, but as far as albums went, as far as listening to an album, I just didn't get much out of it, and I felt like a lot of them were long and drawn out, kind of, especially T-Lot 4. I feel like if you took 4 or 5 tracks off T-Lot 4, I would probably get the same amount of enjoyability as I would if I had not had those 4 tracks. And then when T-Lot 5 came out this year, I also really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good, but it just never really hit that love. There was just something missing, a key component, I guess. But with this project, I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought Pierre sounded really sticky on everything. The melodies are just fire on here. The opening track, I love the way it opens. OMS is just fire. I think the Wiz Khalifa feature was a bold choice, but it was fun. I think as far as features go, my only gripe with features, I think Young Nudies could have gone on for a little bit longer. On my first listen, I was like, oh yes, here's Young Nudie, and then I kind of zoned out for maybe 10 seconds because I was doing something, and then I was like, wait, it's over, it's done. So yeah, that was really my only gripe with it. But as far as it goes, I think it goes on for just a good runtime. I think for some reason I don't have a complete track list, but I think it was only 30-ish minutes.
It's 32 minutes, I think.
32 minutes. That's really good. Because T-Lot 5 was how long
an hour.
Again?
Yeah.
An hour, and then T-Lot 4 was, I believe, maybe the same runtime, maybe 40 minutes ish. But yeah, no, I think this was a great collab. TM88 does an insane job making some of the craziest beats so far. So yeah, but Sam, what about you?
Yeah, nah. So I'm gonna be honest. I haven't up until this release, I actually hadn't heard of TM88.
Oh wow, okay.
But this was. Yeah, no, sorry for being a bit uncultured, but I had never heard of him up until this point. But nah, this was a really, really great introduction. And just to sort of kind of reiterate your points, some of like Pierre's like solo releases, like not really affiliated with Cardi at all, like it's just his solo releases, like The Life of Pierre 4, were a bit underwhelming for me. Like it never really stuck out to me or resonated with me at all.
Yeah.
But then this year he released The Life of Pierre 5, which was one of my favorite albums this year.
Yeah, same, dude.
Yeah, that album's amazing. And he definitely proved himself to be like a sufficient solo artist, if that makes sense. Like someone that can make good solo music and not produce for slightly bigger name hip hop artists. And he definitely proved himself with this record too. Like the only track off the record that I didn't particularly enjoy was I believe the 10th track, Cullinan. I didn't particularly enjoy that one personally. Or wait, sorry, not that one. Love Scam. Love Scam was the track that didn't really resonate with me particularly all that much. But no, this was a super solid album. I enjoyed every track off of this album, with the exemption of that one. The melodies were super catchy. The beats were really, really good. They went pretty crazy. I also do agree with your Young Nudie assessment. I like Young Nudie a lot. I think Anyways is a really good album.
Yeah, I love Young Nudie.
Yeah, Young Nudie's great. I do feel like he could have not contributed more. That's a bit harsh, but like I think his verse could have been a bit longer, because he is a great rapper.
It's very in and out, but like I feel like that's maybe where a lot of people are gonna have a lot of issue with this project. It's tracks 9 through 11 where it kind of switches up. Yeah. Because it's it goes from Richer Dreams straight into Love Scam, and it's like it like really comes to like a grinding halt.
Sure, yeah.
As far as just like the whole like momentum of the project. And so on my first listen, I was like, oh, I don't really like these last 3 tracks. But then once I finally like knew what was gonna come, I was like, yeah, no, these are still great tracks nonetheless. But yeah, all of it is just fire.
I loved every song, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Even especially the last 3 tracks. Actually, like those were some of my favorites. Love Scam is a beautiful song to me, but especially Cullinan, like the guitar solo and like that beat is like. Oh yeah. That was really surprised to hear that guitar solo, but I think it worked really well. The production, dude, like across this whole thing, like. Oh, by the way, Sam, TM88, like you definitely know him, even if you don't know his name. He's produced like EXO Tour Life, Codeine Crazy, Wyclef Jean, like.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I know all those songs. Yeah. I just for some reason I just couldn't recognize the name.
But the production on here, like, obviously I knew he was an amazing producer, but like, I was just still kind of shocked because some of them are there's like so many layers to the production here, and like so many like different synths going on at the same time, and like so many subtle switch ups throughout the songs, like not full on beat switches, but maybe he adds like an element or like a synth like halfway through the song, and it brings a whole different dynamic to it, which was really like, especially on my first listen, I was really engaged by that aspect of it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, no, especially like I just love the way the album opens. Like OMS, I already said it before, but just the way it opens, the production is so fresh and unique here. Like as far as trap goes, it's like I always understand that Pierre Bourne is going to be boundary pushing when it comes to rap because his beats are just beautiful. And I think that like it's interesting. I want to know how much like he really contributed to the overall production. I mean, obviously he was there giving like, hey, so let's switch this up. But I mean, like I want to know like how much of a collaborative it was on each track.
Well, I would guess that Pierre just rapped basically, because like I feel like he just like the whole point of doing like a tape like this where he gets another producer is that he wants to focus more on his rapping. And maybe I'm wrong, but like he just like it would just make sense to me like that TM88 does all the production, then he just like hops in the booth and like
and I think that's kind of where I also kind of want to aim the conversation is Pierre's rapping. I think he's gotten a lot better than he was on previous albums, because at some points Pierre kind of made my eye roll on some songs with how like kind of I don't know amateur kind of his bars sounded like they just didn't I don't know how to explain it completely in what I'm saying, but I just don't think Pierre is that great of a rapper. But I think this project, it shows that he was trying to like put forth a little bit more effort into like writing some better bars. And there are still some bars here and there. I think there was one on Pop Out where I was just kind of like, okay. but I was like, for the most part, I think he's getting better at rapping, and he wants to like. I'm not saying he's gonna become a rapper full time. He's obviously gonna still produce, but like I think that he wants to put a lot more emphasis on his rapping. He's like, I'm. He's no longer I'm Pierre Bourne the producer. I'm Pierre Bourne the producer, but I'm also a rapper. Like I think that's definitely what he wants to be known as a lot more, rather than just oh yeah Pierre Bourne, the guy who does Cardi's beats. I think he wants to step away from that shadow, and I think that's a great thing. So yeah.
Yeah, totally. Like I definitely one of his biggest influences is obviously like Kanye. Like he shouts him out like 3 or 4 times on this album at least. Like
yeah.
And that's kind of I see the parallel there where Kanye was like everyone loved him as a producer, but he wanted to be recognized as a rapper too. And I think about his bars being like kind of I know what you mean. They're kind of simple and they're all like it's like similes and like just very like simple bars, but I honestly think that's like I really love that because it's kind of his style, and it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like he's being lazy to me. It just feels like that's his style, and that's like his like it just fits his music I think really well.
Yeah, I didn't mean to like call him lazy
No,
in any
yeah,
way if
I
it
know,
sounded
just
like that. Yeah, I just think that like I guess it's something to get more used to within an artist's style, like kind of like getting used to MF Doom's flow on a project, perhaps. Like it's just something, a stylistic choice that you may have to get used to. And I never returned to T Lot 4 or T Lot 5. So with this, when I actually loved it and I returned to it, I was like, okay. As time went on, I was like, these bars just kind of come and go. And I would rather, that's kind of, I guess, what I want. But maybe I'm looking for the wrong thing. I would just kind of want to see some bars that don't just come and go.
Yeah.
But then again.
And I think he did do that a little bit on this album.
Yeah. Definitely.
Some more substance here and there, but I don't know. I love T Lot 5 as well. I really like T Lot 4, but T Lot 5 is like Sam, I think agrees with me. Like it's one of the best albums of this year for me.
Absolutely,
I think I like it a little bit better than this even though I really love this album too. But I think Pierre as a rapper is like really amazing. Like even if his bars aren't anything mind blowing, it's like his flows and his knack for like melody and like just he has so many like catchy little things in here. Like I think he's really good as a rapper too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with oh yeah, no, my bad for interrupting, but like
no go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I agree with both of y'all simultaneously. Like Anthony, I agree with you in saying that like he's not a perfect rapper. Like there definitely are certain instances where he'll throw a not so great bar out there, or maybe his flows won't be the most impressive thing. But also like there, like kind of to reiterate your point, Vaughn, like his melodies are extremely catchy and memorable. And like I feel like that blend, sort of like the amateurish rapping style, but also like really, really memorable melodies is like super appealing to me. Like not only on the Life of Pierre 5, which kind of like along with the features of course in the production like made it one of my favorite records this year, but this is also very, very much relevant on this record right here. Like I think I do think like flawed, imperfect, kind of amateurish flows and rapping style is kind of appealing to me to a certain extent. I can't really fully articulate it, but it is there is something kind of like appealing in that sense.
It's kind of goofy, it's kind of fun. Like it's almost
sure.
like if you and your friends were
yeah.
like freestyling kind of with like a stupid bar.
Exactly. That's actually exactly what I was gonna say. That's a perfect instance. Yeah, perfect analogy.
But I definitely think that like Pierre's like trying a lot more than he would on previous projects. Because on other projects, the songs would just be so like wallpaper-ish to me as far as like trap goes.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't fans of them. But that isn't to say that I don't like them. Because especially with this project, there's not a single song that I don't like. There's not a single song that like lets down for me because I just love this project. I think it's really good.
Well, I think the difference there is that it's not that they're wallpaper, it's that they're like his solo music a lot of times is more hypnotic and like spacey, atmospheric to me, almost like kind of like in the vein of Die Lit a little bit, but even his melodies and stuff like support it even more. And this album is definitely a lot more in your face and like fast paced.
Yeah, but you see, I like that kind of like atmospheric and spacey. There are like rap projects which maybe similar to the one we talk about at the end of this episode, that like are super repetitive and super like just kind of over and over. But I like it because it has like a hypnosis to it. And when we get there, we'll talk about it. But like that, I don't have a problem with. I just think that like he's just doing a pretty simple trap song, and that's I want him to go above and beyond because I know he can go above and beyond because it's Pierre Bourne, you know.
That's fair. I can kind of agree on like T-Lap 4 at least. Like
that was I guess that was more what I was talking about. Not so because I really I don't ever go back to T-Lap 4, and whenever I do, I just think about certain songs that just kind of were like whatever to me. But like T-Lap 5, no, that's not what I was talking about. T-Lap 5 is great.
Okay.
Yeah, but Sam, I want to kind of get into favorite tracks. So give me your top 3 favorite tracks.
Okay. This isn't in order, by the way. These are just 3 that sort of come to mind.
It doesn't have to be.
Got you. I really liked Block Boy, the lead single.
Yes.
I thought that was a really good song. Chit Chat, Wiz Khalifa, I do agree with you, like, was an interesting choice for a feature, but he surprised me a lot. Like, I thought his verse was really solid.
Feature was awesome, dude.
Yeah. And then, man, for a third one, I might have to go with Cullen for a third one. Like, I know I made a mistake before, and so, like, that was the track I didn't like, but it was Love Scam, the one I didn't like. But Cullen is definitely top 3 for sure.
Yeah. Vaughn, favorite tracks?
I'm gonna go also Block Boy is my favorite. That's one of my favorite songs of the year, man. It's such a beautiful song for me. Cullinan is awesome, and Pop Out. Pop Out's just really
that's
fun.
Great.
Pop Out solid, yeah.
For me, give me OMS, give me Homecoming, and give me Yogurt.
Fire.
Those are my 3. But overall, just kind of reminder, I think we all love this album, and I think that definitely a standout for this year. But I am surprised to see that not a lot of people are talking about it.
I'm surprised the reception has not been that good. Like, especially compared to T-Lap 5. Maybe it'll take some time, but I don't know.
Yeah, knowing how much like people on Twitter absolutely love the crap out of like Pierre, I'm surprised to see that like timeline hasn't been flooded with it for the past 2 days. It just hasn't. It's been quiet, which is odd. So yeah, and like if I look at like friend ratings so far, I don't think they're like really that high.
Yeah, I don't know. But
there's like I know good friend of ours, Quay, thinks he didn't like it at all.
You don't have to call him out like that, bro. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, no, why?
All right, let's
But yeah, whatever. Yeah, either way, we're gonna get into our Twitter picked album of this week. So I will introduce it. I just want to give a shout out thank you to FIFO also. I believe it's Jack is his name, but I think they took it out, so I don't remember it. Yeah, shout out Jack, or just FIFO also. But the album we're going to be discussing for this week is going to be Loona, Odd Eye Circle, Max and Match. So, who wants to talk first? Should I go first?
Can I go?
Okay, Sam. Go ahead, Sam. Go ahead.
Okay. And like I don't want to take up like too much in a dark space.
Take as much because you're the guest. Like,
take as much time. Yeah, you're the guest.
Sure,
you are allowed to talk as much.
Okay. Because I also wanted to do the intro for the classic album, but if I can do both, that's cool.
You can.
You go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So prior to me hearing this album, I had never heard. I'll confess, I had never heard a K-pop album in full. It's just something I hadn't done. I had heard K-pop songs because I don't live under a rock, but I had never like actually sat down or even like listened to like a full-length K-pop record by any K-pop artist. So when I was going through Twitter to see like what like the most liked reply was, and I saw that it was Loona, I wasn't upset, but I was sort of like, what am I getting into? Like, what am I about to experience? So I think it is fair to say that I was a bit sort of skeptical, maybe a bit reluctant at first. But I still went into the album like not like wanting to hate it or wanting to drink the haterade or anything like that. Kind of like Vaughn, what you said. Or no, sorry, that was Anthony that you said in the last episode. Drinking the haterade. I don't want to drink the haterade. You know, I like to be open to new things. And I was really surprised, and I'm also very glad that Twitter picked it because this thing's amazing. I listened to it once, then I listened to it again, and then again, And then on my fourth listen, I'm like, how am I still enjoying this? Like, I'm on my fourth listen, and I'm enjoying it so much. Like, there's not a single boring or dull or sort of moment on the record where I'm like, all right, let's move on. I've had enough. Like no song goes on for too long. No hook becomes too stale or repetitive. I never get bored of any production moments, any singer on the album, any vocal moments, if that's even the right term.
Yeah.
No, I love this thing a lot. Like, I'm not really sure how else to say it. Like, every single track off this record, and even the introductory track, like the first song, which is like a minute, like a short long intro. Yeah, it's called Ad. Like, I don't know, even that kind of like did a pretty decent job of like setting the scene for what was to come later.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all can relate to that, but like,
no, I agree.
yeah, no, I loved it a lot. I'm not only super happy that Twitter picked it, but like, I think it's fair to say that I'm now more open to like listening to other K-pop albums in full. Like, this album definitely,
it's awesome.
Like, has definitely left me more open-minded when it comes to like listening to albums of this genre. So those are my thoughts.
Vaughn, I want to go last.
Yeah. Okay. I've been listening to this album for like a year or so. I've been familiar with it for a long time. I kind of went through the same thing you did when I first heard it. Like, I was like, I think it was probably the first K-pop album I heard too, and I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. Like, I don't know how I feel about K-pop and all the fans and stuff. Like,
exactly.
But like, I just fell in love with it, and even though back then it really like blew me away. Like, I'm not as mind blown by it now, but I still really love it. Like, it's a really fun album, and it's just like you said, like, there's not a bad song, there's not a boring moment for me. It's just like a really fun, nice little like 25-minute like pop. It's just nice. It's just fun. Yeah, nothing else to say about it, really.
For sure.
So I guess it's time to get into my thoughts.
Yes, sir.
I would just like to say, so my story with K-pop. Yeah, this was my first record with K-pop. So it's all of our first because it's, I think, the biggest one. As far as like what the fans like.
It's probably like the most like critically acclaimed one, I think.
Yeah. And so when I first heard this, and I was like, okay, why is this so highly revered? Why do certain people on Twitter make this their whole like
identity,
personality? What? Yeah, their identity. Yeah. What is it with this record? And when I went in, I guess I can't even believe that there was a time where I thought that this was boring and like mediocre. Because now when I listen to it, I just love it.
Wow, dude. I thought I was expecting to shit on it, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Nope.
Nah.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who wanted to see me shit on this album, you're not
This is what happens when Anthony listens to something more than once, bro. This is the second time this happened.
But
ACDC.
But here's the thing.
Okay. You go.
But here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Last night, and I think it's a perfect analogy. Last night, me and Vaughn watched this Kenny G documentary. And it was about the life of Kenny G.
An awesome
and
documentary.
bear with me. I will connect it. It's an amazing documentary. I will connect this. In the documentary, it was talking about how Kenny G was kind of seen as just easy listening, and just how his music was very corporate. But in the sense that it's because people made it corporate. They made it into something that it really wasn't, and it wasn't easy listening because it isn't technically. And that's how I kind of felt about Loona. I was like, okay, this, like, I see this on Twitter. My parents love it, or not my parents, like my cousins and stuff are like big fans because they're from Korea and they love this stuff. And I'm like, when I look at it, I just see a bunch of corporate figures trying to make like the most baseline pop music. That's what I had saw it at first. But then once I started to kind of like let the curtains down and just allow myself to enjoy what was there, I found it to be really fun. The production is just crazy. Like, the production is so fucking cool. I don't know who did the production. I would have to look at the credits. But it's just really fucking cool. You can put a gun to my head and ask me who is on each track. I honestly couldn't tell you.
No fucking clue.
I have no
idea
fucking
either.
clue.
Nah.
But like, as far as it goes, I love this. It's just fun to listen to. every single, like, it's so fucking crazy. People love this so much. There's a 4.5 average on Girlfriend. Like, it's fucking
Damn.
insane
Shit.
that people like this project so much. And I understand why now. Like, I was trying to, like, challenge myself, like, or not challenge myself, but, like, sit there and, like, try and go under the scalpel. But that's just kind of discrediting it, because why? It's just fun, harmless music, and that's really why I learned to love it. Is because it's harmless. There's, if you're hating on this, like, there's really no reason to, other than just maybe being like, okay, yeah, this is just something that's not for me, and that's fine. If this is not for you, that's fine. Is this still something for me? I don't know. I don't know if I'll go into other K-pop records, but as far as it's concerned, nah, I love this. It's fun. It's just fun to listen to. So yeah, no, that's just kind of my thoughts, that I've changed. I'm a changed man. I'm taking the gloves off and I'm retiring on the K-pop hate.
Wow.
Because I love this project.
I never thought I'd see the day. That's crazy.
Yeah, because my highest rated project up until this was Twice-to-gram, and I only had that at like a good.
The fuck is that, bro?
It's a Twice EP.
Twice-to-gram, bro.
Twice-to-gram, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen,
Never
shout
heard
out
of that.
Twice-to-gram. That project's actually good. I like that project. But there you go. Loona, Odd Eye Circle, Max and Match. It is awesome.
I thought you wanted to go last just to like tear it apart. Like I thought you were going last just to like rip through it. But nah, I'm happy to see that you like it.
No, because like I'm notorious for just like hating on K-pop, but amongst
You're notorious
like
for
Vaughn
hating on
and
everything.
Hyson
You're
and
hating,
Alex.
yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna ignore that. Like it's just because there was something about it, I guess, when I was trying to like acclimate to like getting my own taste, finding my own niche, whatever the fuck you want to call it, stupid shit. This wasn't in my priorities to listen to K-pop, and I was just kind of like, whatever the fuck, this is boring. Like, let me go listen to something super abstract and crazy and fucking. Because that was also another thing. I was like, why the fuck do avant teens love K-pop so much?
Okay,
Why
that's a
out of
whole
everything-
nother conversation. I don't know, man.
I know, but that is part of the reason why I listened to it and I was like, what the fuck are they getting from this? Because I didn't understand. I was like, what the fuck do they like so much? And I still really can't even wrap my head around that. Why, like, out of all funnish, poppy-ish things, this is what they choose. Whatever. Like, I don't care.
Yeah,
like,
people
but,
who
like
like modern classical avant-garde shit. Like,
yeah, who will listen to a 4-hour
Yeah.
Bach album and opera will then go turn on some Max and Match and be like, this is fucking insane. Like, where is that coming from? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, overall, no, this is a dope project.
I wanted to say that I had kind of a similar experience with this was like a year or two ago now, but like
Yeah.
Carly Rae Jepsen Emotion. Like I was not used to, like, everyone was talking about it like a few years ago, and I did not like radio pop and like just pop music, so it was like kind of hard for me to get into, and I was like, I felt cringy like listening to it, like I felt like I don't know, it was weird. I was just like closed-minded to it, I guess, but like the more I listened, I really loved it, and I think that's kind of like it's kind of ironic how like this is like the biggest, like, and the most like mainstream, like trying to appeal to as many people as possible, and it was like hard for me to get into, but it's still like, you just gotta have an open mind. Like, it's just different perspectives and where you come from, and like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, because my experience is that, like, since I have Korean like family, like, this is all I'd hear about, and it just got tiring was another aspect of it. Like, I didn't care for it, so I was already somewhat closed-minded, so that's why I kind of like just openly disliked K-pop. But like now, after a while, after I've grown, and I don't know, I've just been on Twitter for so fucking long, I just enjoyed it. It's just fun. Like, I've just kind of like had this like I don't give a fuck attitude anymore, where it's like I'm just gonna, like, I don't care, like, around the stigma around a certain project, or like around a certain artist that may be considered like corny in the eyes of some. Like, I don't care. I'm just gonna allow myself to enjoy these artists, because like when I first joined Twitter, I think most people can admit, maybe not Vaughn, since you've been on for so fucking long and your account almost predates like how long music Twitter has been for a lot of us.
Okay.
But like I tried to be like, oh man, today's the day. I'm gonna listen to Daughters of Darkness, and I gotta love this because the people love it, and I gotta love it. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my attitude and like mentality going into certain projects. And there was actually some where I was just like, no, this fucking reeks. Like this was horrible. but some shit, I was like,
Right.
I gotta like this because the people like this at that time, and that was just what it was. You know, you wanted to be with the in group. You know what I'm saying? You didn't want to be on the out group. But now that I've been around for so fucking long, I don't care anymore. I'm slapping Astroworld back on my Topster. I'm fucking like Travis Scott's the fucking GOAT. Like, I don't care anymore.
Okay.
Like I'm not gonna sit there and be like, it's time to rate my top 10 trap artists today. Like certain fucking people online. Like that shit's just I don't care about that kind of stuff anymore and that like kind of music discussion. I'm just openly exciting with things and this is one of them that I guess just fucking it clicked for me. Like the production here, like I really cannot compliment it enough. The production is so fucking just cool. Like it's cool as shit. It's like, and especially that like a lot of the sounds have like stripped on TikTok. A lot of the songs are big. I didn't even know that because they strip away the vocals, and so that when I was re-listening to it the past couple days, I'm like, holy shit, I've heard this on TikTok. Like I was like, where the fuck did that come from? That's out of left field. So yeah, no, but overall like really fucking cool shit. I really cannot give it enough. But Sam, anything you want to add?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say that it is really, really easy to sort of affiliate and associate a certain artist or genre with its fan base and sort of create a stigma or a perception around a certain genre based on how that respective fan base acts. I think K-pop is a pretty notable example of that.
Yeah,
and like
the notable example.
Exactly, yeah. It's like the notable example of it. Like K-pop stans are interesting to say the least. They're interesting. I'm not disrespecting BTS. Don't come at me. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not
because
disrespecting BTS. But.
Yeah, no, and I'm not calling anyone out in what I'm about to say, but like there are certain people who I will come across on Twitter and like they hate like most hip hop music. They like don't give a fuck. Like they're listening to like the Smiths and shit, but then they fuck with K-pop so heavy, and that's a lot of their personality. I'm like, and they are just kind of weird. No correlation. They somehow are really attracted towards Asian women, and I'm like because that's kind of the issue when I was first listening to it, because I knew about these people who were so highly in love with Loona and all these K-pop bands, but then they also really loved Asian women, and I was like, why do you really like this? I started to question their intentions, and it became uncomfortable. So then when I listened to it, I guess there was a sense of like, I'm kind of uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I wonder what certain groups of people have done listening to this kind of music.
Oh God.
But like,
Anthony,
now that I've kind of moved on from that kind of like mindset,
bro, why'd you have to put that in my head, man? Why'd you gotta put that in my head? Now I can't listen to this album anymore.
That is what I've had to deal with. That is the kind of shit I've seen. I've seen some horrid shit from motherfuckers who own K-pop physical items. Like it's like,
God, bro.
Don't even.
That's not okay. Let's move on.
Yeah, no, we'll move on from that. I'm seeing.
Let's move on a little bit.
Vaughn is terrified right now. But yeah, no, like overall, like. This is just a dope project. I really do not see how someone could dislike this. Maybe per se, they just don't enjoy it. That's fine. Or well,
obviously.
Sorry, I'm like.
How could someone dislike this?
Mind is running.
Oh, they just don't enjoy it.
How could someone dislike that?
Yeah.
Maybe not enjoy it.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Whatever.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see how someone dislikes it, but I don't per se see how this could be like the epitome of fucking garbage ass trash unless you're actually going out of your way to make this garbage ass trash.
Yeah, like you did.
That's really all that it boils down to. What were you about to say?
No, like you did that. Yeah.
You want me to admit it? Do you want me to say the words? Yes, I
mean, you
did.
kind of already did, so.
Yeah.
Because I already did.
It.
Yes, like yes, I did.
No,
I
I'm just saying. I don't know why you're taking that as a shot or something. I was just pointing that out.
No. Well, because I know you try to get under my skin sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but let's move into favorite tracks. Vaughn, do you know favorite tracks?
Probably Chaotic Girlfront and Sweet Crazy Love.
That's dope. Those are dope. Sam, yours?
You're gonna have to go with Chaotic, Girlfront, and Uncover.
Nice.
Okay.
That's my
Give
top
me
three.
give me Odd Front, give me Girlfront, and yeah, give me Chaotic.
Okay.
Yeah, all really good.
We have the same
But,
top three.
Yeah, we have the same top three. There you go.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
All of it, really, really dope. Shout out Loona.
Shout out Loona. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But we'll let Sam. Do you want to introduce the next album?
Classic album.
It's actually, ladies and gentlemen, it is a.
Ladies
we'll
and
move on to
gentlemen.
our classic album. Sam Swensen has picked it, so I think it's only
I
right he
picked it.
introduces it.
Well,
Sam, what is the album?
okay, so before I reveal it,
Yeah.
I didn't actually. I had the idea of doing a Memphis rap project for the classic album because I'm obsessed with Memphis rap. I've been in sort of like a Memphis rap addiction phase for like several months now. I don't even know how long it's been, but it's been quite a while. And I messaged Anthony saying like, what if we do like Underground Volume 1 by 3-6 or The Devil's Playground by Koopsa? Because like those are probably two of my favorite Memphis rap projects. Also, along with Ashes to Ashes by Tommy Wright III.
Yes.
Love that album.
Yes.
But then but Anthony, it was actually your idea to do, like, you were okay with doing a Memphis rap project, but it was your idea to do this bad boy here. I had to bring out the vinyl for this episode because this is one of my favorite hip hop albums of all time. Got to do a little reveal. Got the inside.
Shit.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
wow, that is
yeah.
a beautiful
I need
present.
to get that, bro.
It's amazing. I don't remember where I got it, but yeah. Wow. Mystic Styles, 3-6 Mafia, the debut album from one of my favorite hip hop groups of all time. I feel like the discourse around this album and its extreme impact on the field of contemporary hip hop, or more specifically, trap music, not only can't be overstated, but I also feel like that discourse and like people really truly starting to realize how influential and how impactful this album is, along with like how much certain artists are indebted to the musical innovations of 3-6 Mafia, like has definitely become prevalent. I can't speak prevalent until really recent. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so this was the debut album from like all of the members of 3-6 Mafia. Like Paul Juicy and Lord Infamous were doing sort of their mixtape thing prior to this album. I want to say like the first like musical sort of venture that Paul and I want to say it was Paul and Infamous, Lord Infamous, like the first musical project that they sort of ventured in, really like the first like instance, like the infancy stage of 3-6 Mafia was the Serial Killers, all the way in like the early 90s, late 80s, when they sort of first started to meet and were pretty much still in school, like distributing mixtapes.
Wow. Wow, I did not know that. This is cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like super deep research. I just like skimmed the Wikipedia article.
Okay.
Memphis rap professor, bro.
I'm
schooling us right now.
Yeah, the Memphis rap professor, exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, 1995. Or no, it was 94 that. Again, this is sort of a hole in my knowledge, but 1994 was when, everyone except Crunchy Black and Gangsta Boo like made the Smoked Out Loked Out tape in 1994, and then 95 like those two members were already a part of the group, and this was like the debut album of all of the members of 3-6 Mafia. And yeah, no, that's sort of like some brief context, but in terms of the music on this album, even though it's not as rough and as lo-fi and as like disturbing horrorcore as maybe some of their older, even rougher projects, the true encapsulation of the horrorcore sound, as well as like fantastic production, triplet flows, menacing and scary lyrics, is still extremely prevalent on this album. That definitely comes through on tracks like "Live by Our Rep," which is one of my favorite hip hop songs of all time. "Gotta Touch Him" Part 3, "Into Game" for sure. I don't know, like I'm struggling to like put all of like my thoughts in a cohesive manner, because like there's just so much I have to say about this album's influence, just how much I love all the songs on here, how much I return to this record on such a consistent monthly basis, along with other Memphis rap projects. But yeah, like like even I would go as far as to say that like Lord Infamous invented the triplet flow, like without any hyperbole or exaggeration. I would say he 100% invented the triplet flow. At least when at least when it comes, and like I'm not only not alone in that assessment. Like I've seen other people sort of express that same viewpoint, but no, I think. I don't know. I think what 360 on this record is just amazing, and definitely like a lot of, especially Suicide Boy. Like I don't mean to like drink the haterade as you were saying before, but like they're just an example of many contemporary hip hop artists that sound like, it's not even to the point where they're strongly influenced by them, and it's kind of like passable. Like there are many instances where like their songs sound exactly like 3-6. And
you're allowed to drink the haterade on that.
Oh,
on
for
them,
sure. Yeah, I think so.
I can't stand Suicide Boys, and they make the Memphis style sound so corny, and
oh my god, for sure.
Sound really corny. Especially they're just edgy with it, and that was kind of the difference between 3-6. 3-6, like you look at the track list, and like I guess they don't really have songs that are like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, and like I'm gonna rip you open, like Suicide 666. Like they don't have track names like that, or they don't have like bars like that. Whereas Suicide Boys kind of do, and it's so corny.
Well, they do have bars like that, but it's not. Yeah. It doesn't feel forced. It's like.
It doesn't. Yeah, that's fair. It doesn't feel forced, but like when they're saying like I'm gonna throw your body in the trunk, like that's fire. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like with Suicide Boys, it sounds forced, and it's kind of sad to see that. Like, that's if you were to really like put a pipeline as to like where Memphis rap and horrorcore has gone now, that would technically be the first instance. Not so much what inspired what influenced what, because then that's kind of breaking out from the branch. If we were to just go straight Mystic Styles to what is the result of Mystic Styles now, I guess you could technically say it's Suicide Boys. And I know it sounds like such a weird stretch because. Yeah, when I think of Memphis rap, as far as like the sound that it was now, I think of, and if I try to think of what it is today, I sadly think of Suicide Boys, and that's kind of a sad thing. And it's odd to see how Memphis rap is kind of not so like, I guess this Memphis rap horrorcore kind of dark kind of scene has kind of died down a little bit. I think it's odd. I sadly have not done enough research into the Memphis sound of things. I've just heard quite a few Memphis projects. But yeah, no, I think that's definitely sad. But Sam, back to you. My bad.
Yeah, no, all good. No, all good. Don't worry about it.
Go ahead.
So sort of two things. One, like the standard like Memphis rap horrorcore sound. I like, although it has sort of died down a little bit, so to speak, I think like its influence is still extremely. It's still very much felt today. Like I've heard and I think I agree with this to a pretty strong extent. Like 3-6 Mafia, and as well as Tommy Wright and like especially Mystic Styles here, like is very much a precursor to trap music, to contemporary trap music, and it also like really you guys were talking about this in the last episode when you guys were discussing the Without Warning album. The influence of the South can't be overstated. The East and West Coast does for sure get a lot of credit, at least when it in regards to the 90s and 2000s when it comes to hip hop influence. But the South cannot be overstated at all. Right? You have Memphis rap. You have the trap scene in Georgia. That was obviously really relevant in the 2010s.
You had like crunk and like
exactly right, exactly.
Like
and 3-6. Like 3-6 in the 90s was like horrorcore, lo-fi, satanic hip hop, and then they sort of transitioned in the 2000s to crunk music. So they were a part of both scenes, which I think is really, really interesting. The other thing I wanted to say, was that Chef, I'm forgetting my point. My bad. Yeah,
you're good.
I just completely forgot my point. Like, there's just so like many things I want to say that it's just hard to organize them.
Yeah.
I wanted to say like.
Yeah, go ahead.
That like, even if people aren't maybe making Memphis rap that like pure Memphis rap that's like getting popular on the radio or anything, like the influence in trap is still present. Like even in Certified Lover Boy, there were like 2 or 3 songs where Drake just straight up sampled a Memphis thing, or like even 3-6.
I mean,
themselves.
Project Pat's literally on
Project
Project
Pat is
Pat's on
that.
it, exactly, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like it's still being felt like every day on the radio.
Yeah.
Like there's some Memphis stuff. And
Exactly.
I don't know if Infamous created the triplet flow. I don't know for sure because I haven't looked into it, but even if he didn't, like he definitely perfected that shit, man.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely,
he
yeah.
fucking blows me away every time he hops on a song. Like it's insane. Like I always loved him, but revisiting this album, he's like shot up to be one of my favorite rappers of all time. Like the way he
For sure,
flows
same.
and his lyricism, like his imagery is so like unique, and that could be said about everyone on the project. What's up?
He just
Little
randomly
Anthony.
grabs.
Anthony's brother.
Oh my god, his brother. It's so
Yeah,
cute.
but
I
dude,
just remember what I was gonna say. Or go ahead. Sorry.
no, you go ahead. You go.
Yeah, I was just gonna. I just remembered my point. They're just logging through my head right now. But Anthony was talking before about, and also you were talking before about how, like when Suicide Boys sort of like rap about sort of the same subject matter that 3-6 does, with kind of like the sort of like the like intimidating violent subject matter.
Yeah.
Like when they do it to me and to both of you guys, I'm sure it's really corny and doesn't come off as authentic or as menacing or as intimidating. But when you take into account that like 3-6 or at least many members of 3-6 group in Orange Mound, Memphis, I'm pretty sure the majority of the members did grow up in that region of Memphis, which is arguably, at least in the 90s, it was the most dangerous murder and crime filled city in the entire state. Like when you take that into account and like violence was very much a part of their lives growing up, like it doesn't come off as corny as fake at all. No, it doesn't come off as corny or fake. Like it truly does come off as like I was saying, like very much authentic and not forced, and also is like that much more intimidating. Like I get a little scared whenever I listen to projects such as these, for sure.
I could feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that also
Sure.
feeds into like the atmosphere of this album. Even if I don't think they were trying to create like a hypnotic or like atmospheric thing. Like Anthony was kind of alluding to that earlier. But like they were, like they just a product of like what they talk about in their production style. It creates this like whole new vibe, like the unique vibe that you really can't hear anywhere else other than Memphis rap. And especially this album has like even a specific feeling in the realm of Memphis rap. And it's just, yeah, it comes across as fake when other people try to recreate it, especially like 10 or 20 years after it was popular. Like,
Right.
it's kind of hard to recreate because this was their lives, and this is like how they were living, and this is just like an organic album that came out of like their real selves, and that's like, you can't recreate that.
For sure.
Yeah, no, and I think that's what a lot of the replayability comes for as far as Memphis rap is concerned. It's that atmosphere that it creates when you kind of put yourself into the album, and that's what I absolutely love with this project, because I do love this project. But on the same side of that argument, there is a project that I like more from one of the 3-6 members.
Oh yeah.
That absolutely, I think, like, purely does the atmosphere thing so perfectly, and that's Coops' The Devil's Playground.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
This I know, and I know we're here talking about Mystic Styles, but I just want to talk about it for a second, because I think that this project does what Mystic Styles doesn't do for me, and that's just how kind of hypnotic it is. Because I don't know, there's just something about Mystic Styles. This isn't to discredit it. I still love it, but it just doesn't. There's some mark that doesn't meet there for me. That's just so amazing, especially when like my favorite track on here is Desuma, which is like, which is one of the weirder tracks because it's so. I would say it's somewhat happier, if you want to put it that way, but it's just like with Mystic Styles, I feel like what's on the Devil's Playground is missing from on here, and that's just how like kind of batshit insane it can be at times, because the Devil's Playground is so fucking weird at times and so like hypnotic, especially with the songs that are just like the same thing over and over and over. Like it just puts you in a trance. And this project, every time I listen to it, I think it's a bit long. I will say that much. I think
That's
it's kind of
fair.
a bit long.
It's fair.
I think there's some tracks that, while are really good, they just I don't know. But unlike the Devil's Playground, once I put myself in that zone of the Devil's Playground, like I'm fucking like in it, and I just love it so much. So that isn't to say I don't like this project, because I still do love it. I cannot say that more enough. I've already said it like 3 times. But as far as it goes, like I don't think I would take this album over like the Devil's Playground. Excuse me.
I like that's fair. I love the Devil's Playground as well, and I also want to mention Underground Volume 1, which is
yeah, that project is great too.
That their compilation, that's just like, that's one of my favorite albums of all time. I would definitely take that.
Yeah, I love that one more too. Yeah.
But it's just a different vibe to me. Like it's just like that album, maybe like I think Koopsta as well. Like they're both, I think the production's a little crazier, and this album has more of a focus on rapping. And
yeah,
it's just kind of a different feeling when I listen to it. And
yeah, and I think that's what it boils down to.
I think this one is also more accessible because of that, and like there are some songs that are just like really cool, really hard, like rapping, and like maybe the beat isn't like super experimental or hypnotic or anything. It's just like a really good, well-made Memphis beat, and
yeah,
it's just a really fun album to me. Like it's really just like it's like, yeah, I said everything. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and like I said, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of tracks that are great here, and I love, like, there isn't a track that I don't like. I just think that there are too many tracks on here to that I don't feel it warrants an hour and 12-minute runtime. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. So like, just for instance, one of their EPs, the Bone Dis EP, I love that a lot. That it just goes in and it goes out, like it's called Live by a Rep. It's literally just, it has Live by a Rep and Slippin'. And I think maybe it's just because I like Koopsta a bit more. I think he's like, in my opinion, I like him the most out of all the 3-6 members. So maybe that's just kind of why I like his solo tape better. But yeah, and it's funny because he literally samples some of the songs that are on here on Mystic Styles. So yeah, but it's weird. They actually, a lot of their songs and projects have a lot of like crossover.
Yeah, that's part of the Memphis rap, like,
yeah, that's part
lore,
of the, yeah,
and hip hop in general. Like you just sample each other and make it part of the beat.
Yeah.
Like,
well, no, I just think it's interesting. You literally sample your own
yeah.
music, your own group's music.
Even Nas has
done
that, like a bunch of times. Like,
oh, you see, I'm not that tapped
that's
into
just
Nas,
a hip hop.
so.
That's just like a '90s hip hop thing. Like you just sample your
Yeah,
own.
no, and I think it's charming. But it's like, yeah, I can't say I don't like this project in full, but I just think that, like, out of everything 3-6 has released, this is still great and awesome, but I think it gets overshined by me for something as like an Underground Volume 1 and the Devil's Playground. Like, I don't know how to not articulate myself that it doesn't sound like I'm hating or I'm just not, like, discrediting this, because that's not what my objective is. I'm just simply saying that, like, I don't get as much out of this as other projects per se.
I think like some of the tracks are definitely similar, maybe can come across a bit redundant, but once I'm into the vibe of this record and like just listening to it, like I'm not getting out. Like I could listen to this for like another 2 hours and not be bored, personally.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, I could definitely, like, the first 3 tracks are just also fun. Or, well, I guess, like, 4, since technically
like Break the Law
beginning is just an intro.
Live by Your Rep.
Yeah, Break the Law to Live by Your Rep. Like, I absolutely get into that mood. And I guess that's kind of, like, why. Because the vibe is so different. And I guess that's what it boils down to. It's just, once again, another subjectivity thing. Like, what vibe hits hardest for you? And, hold on, if I can pull up my Koopsta review. The way I described Koopsta was just, like, it felt a lot more dreary, and it felt like life just fucking sucks way more compared to Mystic Styles, where like there was a little bit more emphasis on the rapping. The kind of way I explained it was that it's like walking through a trap house, endlessly turning corners, trying to find the exit, but the only thing you find is victims getting tortured through various means of drug overdoses and mutilation.
Okay.
That's what I wrote.
Okay.
It's nerdy, but it's like that's how it makes me feel. Like it makes me feel like I'm fucked. Like I'm in an I'm fucked scenario.
Damn.
Where it's like this is dark and this is dreary, and I think it just paints the picture a lot better for me than it does on Mystic Styles. But I think that Mystic Styles is held to a much higher regard because of what Sam said. This was the debut of all of them, of Juicy J, of Lord Infamous, of Koopsta, of Crunchy, of Gangsta. Like everyone was coming out on this project, and that was just the time, and that was what was really dope about it. But yeah, no, I think that this is still a fantastic project that everyone needs to hear to kind of really get the influence of the South in general. Because adjacent to Memphis was Houston. The whole Houston Dirty South scene was still just as rampant, and especially with someone like DJ Screw doing Chopped and Screwed, who would go to kind of show some influence over to the Memphis scene, because there's literally a Screw track on here.
Yep.
So yeah, but like that's the thing that like I think that I always love talking about when it comes to Memphis rap, and that's its lyricism and its influence, and just the South as a whole. I feel like you can't talk about Houston, Georgia, or Memphis, Tennessee without bringing up the influence as a whole, and that's what's such a fun conversation about the South, and why it probably is the best region for hip hop in general. At least I think it's the best region.
I think.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, maybe most influential, but I just think in general,
like the fact that it's like New York birthed hip hop basically, but like most influential right now, at least, like easily.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about most influential. I'm literally just talking about what I think is the best.
Sure,
what I think is the creme de la creme, and I think it's the South.
I don't even
so
know
many notable names.
But yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. But so many names have come out of the South that it's like fucking insane. And I guess the only one who can kind of give a call and response to is New York, because New York is fucking New York and it birthed hip hop. But considering how much the South has changed as a whole is kind of crazy. With New York though, I can't really say. Things have changed. Oh god, fuck. Things have changed for sure, but I don't know. It just kind of feels underwhelming to me compared to the South, where the South was just this monster that just came up out of nowhere and kind of went crazy. Vaughn, I see you kind of. Okay. You're kind of like, what's
I don't know
up?
what you mean by that, but whatever.
What do you mean you don't know what I mean? Like, do you need me to elaborate per se?
No, I'm good. I don't want to hear that.
I'm just saying, compared to the South, I think the North is sleepy. The East Coast is sleepy compared to the South.
Okay, well, I think you're an idiot. Sam,
you think I'm an idiot?
You got something to say? Still got some more to say about this album?
Yeah, I was.
Man, fuck you, bro.
I do actually, and I was just taking some notes on what y'all were saying. So
yeah,
you had pointed out that the length of Mystic Styles was a little bit much, like the hour and 12-minute. Yeah, the hour and 12-minute runtime was a bit like unwarranted, and I think I can definitely understand that. I also think like some of the songs as well, like the individual tracks, maybe could be like some of them at least could be shortened a little bit.
Yeah.
And like you also point out something which I thought was really interesting, sort of like the hypnotic and repetitive nature of a lot of Memphis rap, particularly to Devil's Playground. And I think that Mystic Styles to a certain extent is an album that doesn't really fully capture that for me. Like it doesn't. Yeah. This is just sort of like not even a criticism. This is just something that I feel like other Memphis rap projects do a lot more for me personally. And that's like the super like hypnotic and like repetitive nature of different projects. Like the second track off of Underground Volume 1, which I can't say. I'll just say People Ain't Barned Yet. That's the name of the. I can't say the thing obviously, but yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
But that song is just the same thing over and over for 6 minutes, but just something about it's like super like rough, lo-fi production like it works. It's super hypnotic. I'm not
you
like
could
bored
play
at
it for
all.
another 6 minutes and like
No,
another,
dude,
like,
literally,
like,
literally.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah. No, like it completely works. Even though it is just the same phrase repeated over and over, like just
Yeah.
just something about it is just so entrancing and is it really does elicit a much more stronger visceral atmosphere for me personally.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted a lot more from Mystic Styles, because it's exactly like that on The Devil's Playground. Like a song like Smokin' on a Junt is literally just smoking on a junt. And it's just the same thing repeated over and over and over and over. And you just get like so like hypnotized into it that you just can't help but like move your head, or you just can't feel like you just feel like you're fucking like dying. Like that's what I feel like. I just feel like I'm fucking dying listening to it. And it's just fun. Like I don't know, there's just such a unique vibe to it. I think that's what Memphis rap does like such well in general. Like I said, someone like with how lo-fi it sounds, someone like a Tommy Wright sounds so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Because of his, like, depending on which version you listen to, not the remastered, but like if you were to just listen to Ashes to Ashes, Dust to Dust, that shit sounds like you're listening to it on an 8-track like cassette tape, and it sounds so fucking blown out at times.
Yeah.
And it's really fucking cool. Because it's like, one has to beg the question, is that intentional, is it not? It probably isn't intentional at all.
That's just all they had
like,
to record.
Yeah,
that
no,
was all they had.
That just because of their limited resources, like
And
they're not trying to make it sound rough on purpose.
That idea adds to the atmosphere for me. That's just like them, bro. They're not trying to go for anything fake, which is also another reason.
Yeah, they weren't at all.
That it's kind of corny.
It feels
when
genuine.
Do it like you just put like a vinyl
exactly.
filter on FL or something. Like it's stupid. Like that's just actually what it sounded like for them.
Yeah, exactly. No, and that's the thing. Like that's Memphis rap was very genuine, and it was very in your face, especially with the lyrics. People absolutely hated 3-6 when they were doing this. As far as like the white demographic and like people in general, I remember like because they were promoting. There's literally like a conspiracy theory that like if you listen to 3-6, you'll become part of this like demonic pact, and that they were trying to convince you to join like this like satanic cult. And like that was the thing. People were afraid of this kind of music. And it's just such a bold thing, and like just another reason as to why the South was so interesting to me, because they just had something to say, and just this kind of style. Like the lyricism cannot be talked about enough when it comes to Memphis.
Yeah, I don't know if you were here when
so
I mentioned
bloody and gory.
The Lord Infamous, like he's one of my favorite lyricists now, because just the way he like says stuff is just fucking like the imagery and like the paintings it evokes in my head is just like crazy. And
and like
everyone on the album
Southern
does
way
that
of
too.
talking.
And it's just
just the way Southerners talk is just so like interesting to me sometimes, because they really somehow find ways to chop words to kind of make things rhyme, and that's so fucking fun. Like Andre does it a lot, Lord Infamous does it a lot. Like they will just find a way to like make a word rhyme with something else that when you like actually say it, fully enunciate it, it makes no fucking sense, and there's no way it rhymes. And that's what's so cool to me. And that's what it does a lot on this project. And you were right, Vaughn. This project does focus a lot more on the rapping, and I guess when I come to a Memphis rap project, I want a lot more of the atmosphere as per se the rapping, because I know I'm just going to get that great lyricism all throughout, you know? And so I guess that's just really what it boils down to. But nonetheless, like, really dope. I kind of want to get into favorite tracks. So, Sam.
Wait a minute. And there was just, I'm sorry, there was just 2 more points I want to make, and then we can get into favorite tracks and all that. So, yeah, another point I wanted to make was like, atmosphere, like the true rough horrorcore lo-fi intimidating sound. Like I just sort of kind of like wanted to retract like a point I made earlier. Like I like since this album did like it was backed by a label and a budget, Profit Entertainment, which is a label that they created. Like since it was backed by both of those entities, and like that wasn't the case for like their like Paul and Infamous's like Come With Me to Hell mixtape series, and also like their smoked out loked out tape. Like that didn't really come with like super efficient like high quality recording equipment or a budget of any kind, as were a lot of Memphis rap tapes in the 90s. Ash Stash is a pretty pretty notable example.
Yeah.
But yeah, the truly like, again, this isn't really to discredit Mystic Styles, and I know I keep referring to other albums that aren't this, but I think like the true like really rough, scary, many adjectives I could use to describe this particular kind of music, but like I feel as though that sound it definitely isn't prevalent it definitely isn't prevalent as much on this album as it is with their earlier mixtapes. And even though The Devil's Playground, which is the vinyl that I have and the one that's available on Spotify, even though that is a remastered version of the actual tape, which is a lot like the first edition of the tape is obviously a lot rougher. Like I still like I still find it so much more like you were pointing out some pretty intense analogies when you were describing the nature of The Devil's Playground's music. Like it is a really, really scary, intimidating album. Like even just listening to it, for sure.
And even the remaster still sounds.
That's what I'm saying.
Like the nicest sounding track is Ready to Ride, and that I guess that's what a lot of people fault the remaster for, is because of how nice Ready to Ride sounds compared to like it goes straight into like, I forget which track it goes into, but it goes into a track that just sounds like it was just on a cassette, and it sounds like, I'm not gonna say hot garbage, because if you were to say hot garbage, you're discrediting it. But it's more so like it doesn't sound nearly as good as the song before it. And so it's like, like this. I guess it is, maybe their sound on this project was a bit more toned down in the sense that they had a label backing it, and maybe sales per se. Because like I said, a song like This Summer is so like it sticks out like a sore thumb on the project.
Yeah, I think so.
And that's not saying it's bad, because it's my favorite track, but it's like, it sticks out so much because it's such an odd track for the Memphis sound and what they kind of had on this project. But and did you have a second point?
Could I just add to that?
Go ahead, Vaughn,
sorry. That
go ahead.
I think it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like the lower quality recordings add like a layer of mystery to it, and like a layer of roughness to it. But if you have higher quality like this and maybe some later stuff that they did, you can hear more details in the amazing production. So it's just kind of, it's that's like fair. There are pros and cons to it, and I think that's just why it's not a worse atmosphere, it's just a different atmosphere.
For sure.
And that's what this whole conversation has really just boiled down to. It's just what sounds better to us, you know what I'm saying? Like what we like more, you know? But yeah, Sam, back to your second point.
Just sort of the last point I wanted to make. Like even like the roughness of Memphis rap certainly adds to its distinct tone and atmosphere and style 100%. But like there are tracks off of Underground Volume 1 and also The Devil's Playground that even though they're not like Underground Volume 1 is a compilation of like all of 3-6's material. I keep forgetting the name of the projects I'm looking here. Yeah, so DJ Paul and Juicy J's Volume 1 through 3 mixtapes, DJ Paul Lord Infamous's mixtapes like Come With Me to Hell, and then also Juicy J's solo tapes, 666 Mafia's Smoked Out, Loked Out tape, which was before Mystic Styles. So that's a compilation of all of that music, which was like extremely rough before, but then like refined to a more remastered version. But even that is like even when it's remastered, like I still get that, like I still get a much more like distinct and like unsettling horrorcore sound from that project. And even though I don't get that on Mystic Styles 100%, although I do in certain moments, like even though I don't get that full sound with every track, like I still think it's a great project. I still think the production's extremely sharp, even though it's not as rough or as intimidating or horrorcore-y. It does like I don't think it's perfect. Like there are some things that I would change about it, but I love it a lot. I mean, I have it on vinyl, so obviously I like it enough to get on that.
I love it too.
It's an amazing. It's an amazing project with great production, great flows, super memorable. I play it on Halloween along with Underground and The Devil's Playground. But yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, that's so fire. But yeah, let's get into favorite tracks. Or Devon, did you have anything to add, or are you ready for favorite tracks?
No, I'm ready. Yeah.
All right. Sam, go ahead. Drop your top.
Okay. So, give me "Live by a Rep." That's one of my favorite 3-6 Mafia songs. "Gotta Touch 'Em" Part 3, and like that top 2 is set. Like I don't think that's ever gonna change. Like gotta touch 'em part 3 is or part 2. Sorry, part 2. Part 2. Part 3. That's is insane. Into Game I think is my third one. Break the Law 95 is also amazing too. Like there are a lot of really good great tracks on here.
Vaughn, what's up?
I'm going with The Summer, Tear the Club Up, and my favorite track, which I probably should have touched on a little bit. Now I'm High Part 3. Also kind of sticks out for me as well. That almost like I wanted to just say, like, I want to put this out there. That song kind of influenced cloud rap, I think, too. And that's
for real.
I agree with that.
That's one of my favorite beats of all time. I just love that song.
Yeah.
That's my favorite track.
Yeah, that's fire. I like that top 3. Yeah, because we're very similar. Give me Now I'm High Part 3. Give me Break the Law 95, and then give me The Summer. That's my top 3 right there.
That's solid.
But overall, every project I think we've all loved, right? This project was a love. This episode was a love episode.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely, yeah.
There wasn't a single project we all didn't love, so there you go. That is going to probably be maybe one of the only times. Who knows?
We'll see.
But yeah, overall, I think it's time we wrap up, ladies and gentlemen. So we just want to give a small shout out to Todd Edwards.
Of course.
Todd, shout out. We're gonna always give out a shout out to Todd Edwards. But yeah, we thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for coming out to episode 4 of the Chair Guys podcast. Episode
4. It's 4.
It is 4.
Yeah,
it's 4. It's 4. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Episodes in, bro.
It's because we have a lot of people planned, so I've been like kind of like mixing on my mind.
You have to tell me, bro.
Telling you. I'm not gonna tell them. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Anthony, and I'm with
Vaughn.
Yep, and our special guest,
Sam.
Sam Swensen.
Sam Swensen. I'll say my full name. Why not?
Yeah, Sam Swensen.
Yeah.
And we thank you all for coming out, and we'll see you next week. Toodles.
Don't say toodles, bro. What is